Good evening, it's been 3 weeks since our last quiz and the lockdown is still in full effect, so you shouldn't be going outside, you should be staying inside, and so we've decided to do another quiz to keep you busy on these evenings when you really want to be outside in the sunshine, but the government and common sense says stay indoors, protect the NHS, keep away from the corona zombies. So this quiz is a little bit different to the last one. It is still an 80s quiz, but we're not just doing movies this time. We've got 4 rounds with 10 questions each. First round will be movies, second will be TV shows, third will be music, and the fourth will be a mixture of toys and video games. So you've really got to rack your pop culture brains for lots of information about things you listened to, watched and played with in the 80s. Just a reminder just before we start, this quiz is brought to you by MovieMuse.net, also MovieMuse on Facebook. You can visit us for various reviews of things to do with movies. We share interesting news about movies from various sites as well. We do the Freeview Movies of the Week, where we give you a list of films to watch on TV while you're stuck indoors during this period. And we've also done our first podcast for quite a few years, I think it is, which was released recently, which is a review of the 80s classic The Wizard, starring Fred Savage and featuring a lot of Nintendo product placement. So if you're interested in our review and our thoughts of that film, do check out our podcast. It's about 25 minutes long, so it doesn't take up too much of your time. We've also got lots of podcasts on the website from previous years that we've done. Interesting things about superheroes, Star Wars, James Bond, horror films, all kinds of interesting stuff. So if you're looking for something to listen to while you're working from home, for example, then MovieMuse, head to moviemuse.net and check out some of our podcasts. Okay, so let's kick off the quiz. We'll be doing 10 questions in the movie round, and then 10 questions on TV, 10 on music and 10 on toys and video games, 40 questions in all multiple choice, so at least you've got a 25% chance of getting the right answer. So let's get going with the first question in the first round, which is all about movies. So question 1. Which 1987 comedy stars Steve Martin and John Candy as mismatched businessmen trying to get home for Thanksgiving? Is it A, The All-Nighter, B, Midnight Run, C, Planes, Trains and Automobiles, or D, Tin Men? Question 1 again. Which 1987 comedy stars Steve Martin and John Candy as mismatched businessmen trying to make their way home for Thanksgiving? Is it A, The All-Nighter, B, Midnight Run, C, Planes, Trains and Automobiles, or D, Tin Men? Question 2. In which Rocky film does the song Eye of the Tiger first appear? Is it A, Rocky 2, B, Rocky 3, C, Rocky 4, or D, Rocky 5? Once again, which Rocky film does the song Eye of the Tiger first appear in? Is it A, Rocky 2, B, Rocky 3, C, Rocky 4, or D, Rocky 5? Question 3. Which movie had the tagline The Future of Law Enforcement? Was it A, Beverly Hills Cop, B, Maniac Cop, C, RoboCop, or D, Time Cop? Once again, question 3. Which movie had the tagline The Future of Law Enforcement? Was it A, Beverly Hills Cop, B, Maniac Cop, C, RoboCop, or D, Time Cop? Question 4 then. Which former sports star appeared as Frank Drebin's sidekick Detective Nordberg in The Naked Gun? Was it A, George Foreman, B, Magic Johnson, C, O.J. Simpson, or D, William Perry? Question 4 again. Which former sports star appeared as Frank Drebin's sidekick Detective Nordberg in The Naked Gun? Was it A, George Foreman, B, Magic Johnson, C, O.J. Simpson, or D, William Perry? Question 5 then. Which Jeff starred as computer programmer and arcade owner Kevin Flynn in the 1982 movie Tron? Was it A, Jeff Bridges, B, Jeff Conaway, C, Jeff Daniels, or D, Jeff Goldblum? Question 5 again. Which Jeff starred as computer programmer and arcade owner Kevin Flynn in the 1982 movie Tron? Was it A. Jeff Bridges, B. Jeff Conaway, C. Jeff Daniels, or D. Jeff Goldblum? Okay, for question 6 we're going to show an 80s movie poster on screen with the name of the film removed. What I want to know is what movie is the poster advertising? Is it A. E.T., B. Explorers, C. Flight of the Navigator, or D. The Never-Ending Story? Once again, you can see the poster on screen. The question is, what movie is the poster from? Is it A. E.T., B. Explorers, C. Flight of the Navigator, or D. Never-Ending Story? Moving on to question 7 then. In which film did Clint Eastwood first say his classic line, "Go ahead, make my day"? Was it A. The Deadpool, B. Firefox, C. Sudden Impact, or D. Tightrope? Once again, in which film did Clint Eastwood first say his classic line, "Go ahead, make my day"? Was it A. The Deadpool, B. Firefox, C. Sudden Impact, or D. Tightrope? Question 8. In the 1988 film Big, what is the name of the Make-A-Wish machine that Josh Baskin asks to make him big? Is it A. Falcor, B. Vulcan, C. Zoltan, or D. Zoltar? Once again, in the 1988 film Big, what is the name of the Make-A-Wish machine that Josh Baskin asks to make him big? The wish that obviously comes true. Is it A. Falcor, B. Vulcan, C. Zoltan, or D. Zoltar? Question 9. Throughout the entire Back to the Future trilogy, how many times does Marty McFly travel through time? Is it A. 5, B. 6, C. 7, or D. 8? Now technically, Back to the Future 3 is a 90s film. It was released in 1990, but we are talking about all 3 films. So across all 3 films in the Back to the Future trilogy, how many times does Marty McFly travel through time? Is it A. 5, B. 6, C. 7, or D. 8? And finally, question 10 from this round, we're going to play a short music clip and we want to know what movie the music comes from. So I'll give you the possibilities first, then we'll play the clip, and then I'll give you the reminder of what the options are. So is it from A. Creepshow, B. The Lost Boys, C. Weird Science, or D. Young Frankenstein?
People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. The streets are uneven when you're down.
Okay, so I'll repeat those possibilities again. Again, which movie is the music clip from? Is it A. Creepshow, B. The Lost Boys, C. Weird Science, or D. Young Frankenstein? And we'll play that music again now just in case you missed it first time around before we move on to the next round.
People are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. The streets are uneven when you're down.
Okay, let's move on to round 2 then, which is all about TV shows from the 80s, obviously. Question 1. What was Edmund Blackadder's rank in the 4th series of Blackadder? Was it A. Captain, B. Corporal, C. Lieutenant, or D. Sergeant? Question 1 again. What was Edmund Blackadder's rank in the 4th series of Blackadder? Was it A. Captain, B. Corporal, C. Lieutenant, or D. Sergeant? Question 2. Which 80s cop show features a psychotic detective that talks to his gun? Was it A, The Equalizer, B, Police Squad, C, Remington Steele, or D, Sledgehammer? Once again, question 2. Which 80s cop show featured a psychotic detective who talked to his gun? Was it A, The Equalizer, B, Police Squad, C, Remington Steele, or D, Sledgehammer? Question 3. Who was the original host of the quiz show Blankety Blank? Was it A, Bob Monkhouse, B, Les Dawson, C, Les Dennis, or D, Terry Wogan? Question 3 again. Who was the original host of the quiz show Blankety Blank? Was it A, Bob Monkhouse, B, Les Dawson, C, Les Dennis, or D, Terry Wogan? Okay, let's move on to question 4 then. Which Geordie actor spent most of the 80s playing an under-the-thumb bricklayer in Dusseldorf and an easygoing detective sergeant in Oxford? Was it A, John Thor, B, Jonathan Cullen, C, Kevin Whatley, or D, Tim Healy? Once again, question 4. Which Geordie actor spent most of the 80s playing an under-the-thumb bricklayer in Dusseldorf and an easygoing detective sergeant in Oxford? Was it A, John Thor, B, Jonathan Cullen, C, Kevin Whatley, or D, Tim Healy? Let's move on to question 5 then. In Home and Away, what was the name of Sally Fletcher's imaginary friend? Was it A, Coco, B, Milko, C, Pongo, or D, Wilbur? Once again, question 5. In Home and Away, what was the name of Sally Fletcher's imaginary friend? Was it A, Coco, B, Milko, C, Pongo, or D, Wilbur? Okay, you're probably sick of looking at my face, so let's put another picture up on screen for this next question. Question 6. From which 80s cartoon series is the pictured character? Is it A, Dungeons and Dragons, B, Mask, C, The Real Ghostbusters, or D, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or as we knew it in the UK in the 80s, Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles? Once again, question 6. From which 80s cartoon series is the pictured character? Is it A, Dungeons and Dragons, B, Mask, C, The Real Ghostbusters, or D, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Moving on to question 7 then. What was the full name of the furry alien from the 80s sitcom Alf? Was it A, Albert Leonard Fulcrum, B, Frankie Ferrell, C, Gordon Shumway, or D, Larry St. Clair? Question 7 again. What was the full name of the furry alien from the 80s sitcom Alf? Was it A, Albert Leonard Fulcrum, B, Frankie Ferrell, C, Gordon Shumway, or D, Larry St. Clair? Question 8. Which TV star teamed up with Hulk Hogan in the main event of the first ever WWF Wrestlemania in 1985? Was it A, Lou Ferrigno, B, Mr. T, C, Ted Danson, or D, Tom Selleck? Question 8 again. Which TV star teamed up with Hulk Hogan in the main event of the first ever WWF Wrestlemania in 1985? Was it A, Lou Ferrigno, B, Mr. T, C, Ted Danson, or D, Tom Selleck? Question 9. In Red Dwarf, what is Kryten's middle name? Is it A, 2X4B? Is it B, Judas? Is it C, Queeg? Or is it D, ZX81? I repeat question 9. In Red Dwarf, what is Kryten's middle name? Is it A, 2X4B? Is it B, Judas? C, Queeg? Or D, ZX81? And the final question in this round, question 10. 4 actors portrayed Doctor Who during the 80s, but which appeared in the most episodes during that decade? Is it A, Colin Baker, B, Peter Davison, C, Sylvester McCoy, or D, Tom Baker? Question 10 again. 4 actors portrayed Doctor Who during the 80s, but who appeared in the most episodes during that decade? Was it A, Colin Baker, B, Peter Davison, C, Sylvester McCoy, or D, Tom Baker? So that concludes round 2. We're going to take a short break now, just a couple of minutes to refresh ourselves, and then we'll be back with the final 2 rounds of this quiz, which are about music and toys and video games. See you in a couple of minutes.
On your last trip, did you discover what the Earth people eat? They eat a great many of these. They peel them with their metal knives, boil them for 20 of their minutes, then they smash them all to bits. They are clearly a most primitive people.
For mash, get smash.
Waffles, a wobbly versatile.
Grill and bake and fry and eat 'em.
Wobbly versatile. Transformers, robots in disguise.
Only the heroic Autobots can save Earth. Sideswipe, grapple, ratchet, jazz, a whole army.
Evil Decepticons! Autobots transform!
Transformers, robots in disguise.
The evil Decepticons must be stopped by the heroic Autobots. The battle goes on.
Transformers,
Robots in disguise from Hasbro.
A finger of fudge is just enough to give your kids a treat. A finger of fudge is just enough until it's time to eat. It's full of peppery goodness, but very small and neat. A finger of fudge is just enough to give your kids a treat.
Will it be chips or jacket spuds? Will it be salad or frozen peas?
Will it be mushrooms, fried onion rings? You'll have to wait and see.
Bird's Eye introduced Steakhouse Grills, pure ground beef that you cook like a steak and serve like a steak. What will you give your old man with his Steakhouse Grill?
Oh, Miss Chips, it's chips. We are Miss Chips, it's chips.
Bird's Eye Steakhouse Grills, now in lamb as well as beef.
Welcome back to the second half of the quiz. So let's move on to the third round, which is another 10 questions, this time about 80s music. Question 1. What was Adam and the Ants' first UK #1 single? Was it A, Ant Music, B, Kings of the Wild Frontier, C, Prince Charming, or D, Stand and Deliver? Question 1 again. What was Adam and the Ants' first UK #1 single? Was it A, Ant Music, B, Kings of the Wild Frontier, C, Prince Charming, or D, Stand and Deliver? Question 2. One-hit wonder Nick Cayman was more famous for starring in a TV commercial for which brand? Was it A, Lacoste, B, Paco Rabanne, C, Levi Jeans, or D, Wrangler Jeans? Question 2 again. One-hit wonder Nick Cayman was more famous for starring in a TV commercial for which brand? Was it A, Lacoste, B, Paco Rabanne, C, Levi's Jeans, or D, Wrangler Jeans? Okay, for question 3 we're going to put a picture on screen. It's an album cover, but with the name of the album obscured. The question is, which A-ha album is pictured on screen? Is it A, East of the Sun, West of the Moon, B, Hunting High and Low, C, Scoundrel Days, or D, Stay on These Roads? Once again, which A-ha album is pictured on screen? Is it A, East of the Sun, West of the Moon, B, Hunting High and Low, C. Scoundrel Days, or D. Stay on These Roads? Question 4. Which Guns N' Roses song from the Appetite for Destruction album was the highest charting single on the Billboard Top 100? Was it A. It's So Easy, B. Night Train, C. Paradise City, or D. Sweet Child of Mine? Once again, which Guns N' Roses song was the highest charting single on the US Billboard Top 100? Was it It's So Easy, B. Night Train, C. Paradise City, or D. Sweet Child of Mine? Question 5. How many number 1 singles did Madonna have in the UK in the whole of the 80s? Was it A6, B7, C8, or D9? Question 5 again. How many number 1 singles did Madonna have in the UK during the 80s? Was it A6, B7, C8, or D9? Question 6. Which track was not on the Happy Mondays seminal 4-track EP Madchester Rave On? Was it A. Hallelujah, B. Holy Ghost, C. Rave On, or D. WFL Wrote for Luck? Just to repeat those again. Which track was not on the Happy Mondays seminal 4-track EP Madchester Rave On? Was it A. Hallelujah, B. Holy Ghost, C. Rave On, or D. WFL Wrote for Luck? Question 7. Which band was Belinda Carlisle a member of before going solo in 1985? Was it A. The Bangles, B. The Go-Go's, C. The Runaways, or D. Vixen? Question 7 again. Which band was Belinda Carlisle a member of before going solo in 1985? Was it A. The Bangles, B. The Go-Go's, C. The Runaways, or D. Vixen? Question 8. Which 80s James Bond theme spent the most weeks in the UK charts? Was it A. A View to a Kill by Duran Duran, B. All Time High by Rita Coolidge, C. License to Kill by Gladys Knight, or D. The Living Daylights by a-ha? To repeat that question. Question 8. Which 80s James Bond theme spent the most weeks on the UK charts? Was it A. A View to a Kill by Duran Duran, B. All Time High by Rita Coolidge, C. License to Kill by Gladys Knight, or D. The Living Daylights by a-ha? Question 9. Wouldn't be an 80s music round without a question about a novelty song. Which of these is not a line from Spitting Image's Chicken song? Is it A. Climb Inside a Dog, B. Hold the Chicken in the Air, C. You Better Listen, Better Do As You're Told, or D. You Just Can't Escape This Dance? Question 9 again. Which of these is not a line from Spitting Image's Chicken song? Was it A. Climb Inside a Dog, B. Hold the Chicken in the Air, C. You Better Listen, Better Do As You're Told, or D. You Just Can't Escape This Dance? And to finish off this round for question 10, we're going to play a clip from a Duran Duran song, which was their only single to enter the charts at number 1. The question is, what song is it? And your options are A. Is There Something I Should Know, B. The Reflex, C. Union of the Snake, or D. The Wild Boys? So let's hear that clip now.
I made a break, I run out yesterday, tried to find my mountain hideaway. Maybe next year, maybe no go.
So once again, your options for that song Was it A, Is There Something I Should Know, B, The Reflex, C, Union of the Snake, or D, The Wild Boys? And that concludes the music round. Let's move on to the final round of the quiz, which is about toys and video games from the 80s. Question 1. What was the biggest selling Nintendo Gameboy game? Was it A, Kirby's Dream Land, B, Pokemon Red, C, Super Mario Land, or D, Tetris? The Game Boy came out in 1989, so these sales did continue on into the 90s, but it's still an 80s question. Which was the biggest selling Nintendo Game Boy game? Was it A, Kirby's Dream Land, B, Pokemon Red, C, Super Mario Land, or D, Tetris? Question 2. Which toy line had characters called Tenderheart, Cheer, Love-A-Lot and Funshine? Was it A, Care Bears, B, My Little Pony, C, Pound Puppies, or D, Rainbow Bright? That question again. Which toy line had characters including Tenderheart, Cheer, Love-A-Lot and Funshine? Was it A, Care Bears, B, My Little Pony, C, Pound Puppies, or D, Rainbow Bright? Question 3. Which game was bundled with the original Atari 2600 from 1982? Now this 2600 was actually released in 1977 and it was repackaged and rebundled in 1982. We want to know what game it came with, and your options are A, Breakout, B, Combat, C, Defender, or D, Pac-Man. So question 3 again, which game was bundled with the original Atari 2600 from 1982 onwards? Was it A, Breakout, B, Combat, C, Defender, or D, Pac-Man? Question 4. What was the unique selling point of 1985's most popular toy, Teddy Ruxpin? Was it A, he could break dance, B, he had a built-in cassette player, C, he could help with your homework, or D, he could rap? Question 4 again, what was the unique selling point of 1985's most popular toy, Teddy Ruxpin? Was it A, he could break dance, B, he had a cassette player built in, C, he could help you with your homework, or D, he could rap? So our next question is going to be another picture question. We're going to put a picture of a 1982 arcade game on the screen, and you've got to name the game. Is it A, Phoenix, B, Space Harrier, C, Time Pilot, or D, Zaxxon? Once again, question 5. Which 1982 arcade game is pictured? A, Phoenix, B, Space Harrier, C, Time Pilot, or D, Zaxxon? Question 6 then. TCR was once a rival to the much more successful Scalextric, but what did TCR stand for? Was it A, Tin Car Racers, B, Tomy Circuit Racers, C, Total Control Racing, or D, Touring Car Racing? Once again, TCR was a rival for Scalextric, which was much more popular, but what does TCR stand for? Is it A, Tin Car Racers, B, Tomy Circuit Racers, C, Total Control Racing, or D, Touring Car Racing? And that was question 6, in case I didn't mention it. Question 7. Which of the following was not a toy from Mattel's Masters of the Universe line? That's He-Man figures, if you don't know what Masters of the Universe is. So which of the following was not a toy from Mattel's Masters of the Universe line? Was it A, Fisto, B, Snake Eyes, C, Stinkor, or D, Whiplash? Once again, question 7. Which was not a toy from the Mattel's Masters of the Universe line? Was it A, Fisto, B. Snake Eyes, C. Stinkor, or D. Whiplash? Just 3 questions to go. Number 8. Which best-selling home computer had a model affectionately known as the Toast Rack? Was it A. the Amstrad CPC, B. the BBC Micro, C. the Commodore 64, or D. the ZX Spectrum? The Sinclair ZX Spectrum, to give it its full name. Once again, question 8. Which best-selling home computer had a model affectionately known as the Toast Rack? Was it A. the Amstrad CPC, B. the BBC Micro, C. the Commodore 64, or D. the Sinclair ZX Spectrum? Moving on to question 9 then, we've got another picture here to show you, and what we're showing you is a dodgy Soviet version of a classic 80s toy. What we want to know is what that toy was originally called in the West. So is it A. Big Tank, B. Big Track, C. Big Trek, or D. Big Truck? Once again, you're seeing a dodgy Soviet version of a classic 80s toy. What was that toy called? Was it A. Big Tank, B. Big Track, C. Big Trek, or D. Big Truck? Finally, question 10, and the final question of the quiz, apart from the tiebreaker that's coming up in a moment. Question 10, what was the best-selling toy of the decade in the 1980s? Was it A. Cabbage Patch Kids, B. Etch-a-Sketch, C. the Nintendo Entertainment System, or D. the Rubik's Cube? Once again, question 10, what was the best-selling toy of the decade in the 1980s? Was it A. Cabbage Patch Kids, B. Etch-a-Sketch, C. Nintendo Entertainment System, or D. the Rubik's Cube? And that's the final question of the quiz. Right, let's get on with the answers to the questions then. 40 questions, get through them as quickly as possible. Movies round first. Question 1 was, which 1987 comedy starred Steve Martin and John Candy as mismatched businessmen trying to get home for Thanksgiving? It was C. Planes, Trains and Automobiles. Question 2, which Rocky film does the song Eye of the Tiger first appear in? The answer to that was Rocky 3. It also appeared in Rocky 4. The other two in the options were A and D, Rocky 2 and Rocky 5. They weren't actually 80s films, so they were the red herrings. So it was B, Rocky 3. Question 3, which movie had the tagline The Future of Law Enforcement? The answer to that was C, RoboCop. Question 4, which former sports star appeared as Frank Drebin's sidekick Detective Norberg in The Naked Gun? The answer was C, O.J. Simpson, not only a former sports star but a soon-to-be murderer, allegedly. Question 5, which Jeff starred as computer programmer and arcade owner Kevin Flynn in Tron? It was A, Jeff Bridges. Question 6 was the movie poster that we showed on screen with the name of the film removed, and the answer to that was B, Explorers, not E.T. A lot of people went for that. I think they were misguided by the BMXs and all the glowing lights, but no, it was B, Explorers. Question 7, which film did Clint Eastwood first say his classic line, "Go ahead, make my day"? It was C, Sudden Impact. Question 8, in Big, what is the name of the Make-A-Wish machine that Josh Baskin asks to make him big? That's Josh Baskin, not that bitch Carol Baskin. And the answer to that was D, Zoltar, although we did also go, one of the answers was A, Falkor. That's actually the Luck Dragon from the Neverending Story. But it was D, Zoltar. And question 9, throughout the Back to the Future trilogy, how many times does Marty McFly travel through time? The answer was C, 7, and I'll go through them for you now. So in the first film, he goes back to 1955, then at the end of the film he goes back forwards to 1985, then at the end of the first film and the beginning of the second film he goes forward to 2015, then he goes back to 1985, back to 1955, back to 1885, and then finally back to 1985. So it was 7. Question 10, last one for that round. Which film does the song we played appear in? The song was People Are Strange by Eka and the Bunnymen, which was a cover of a song by The Doors. And the answer was B, it was from The Lost Boys. Okay, on to TV shows. Question 1, what was Edmund Blackadder's rank in the 4th series of Blackadder? It was A, Captain. Question 2, which 80s cop show featured a psychotic detective who talks to his gun? It was D, Sledgehammer. Number 3, who was the original host of the quiz show Blankety Blairk? The correct answer was D, Terry Wogan. We also put in there B was Les Dawson. He was the presenter that took over from Terry Wogan. That fooled a few people, I think. Bob Monkhouse did Bob's Full House and Les Dennis did Family Fortunes. Although that might have been the 90s, I'm not sure. Anyway, so moving on to question 4. The Geordie actor question. Which Geordie actor spent most of the 80s playing a bricklayer in Dusseldorf or a detective sergeant in Oxford? C, which was Kevin Whately or Watley. I said Watley, I think it's actually Whately. That was the right answer. So he was in Ovida St. Pet and Inspector Morse. Okay, question 5. In Home and Away, what was the name of Sally Fletcher's imaginary friend? It was B, Milko, who many years later, and this might be after you stopped watching Home and Away, because I think it was the 90s, he actually turned out to be a real person. She had a brother called Miles, who didn't appear until much later on. I think it was just some way to make Milko a real thing and get a new actor into the show. Question 6. From which 80s cartoon was the pictured character? That was Krang from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so that was D. Question 7. The full name of the furry alien from the 80s sitcom Alf? C. Gordon Shumway was the real name of Alf. Question 8. Which TV star teamed up with Hulk Hogan in the first ever WrestleMania? It was B, Mr. T, who also starred in Rocky 3 along with Hulk Hogan, who played Thunderlips in Rocky 3. Although I don't think they shared any scenes together. I think that's probably where they met, and then they went on to be in the wrestling thing for a bit. Question 9. In Red Dwarf, what is Kryten's middle name? It was A, 2X4B, which Kryten thinks is a jerky middle name, and that's actually only mentioned in one episode, I believe, which was towards the end of Series 3 in 1989. The other answers on there, B, Judas, was Rimmer's middle name. C, Queeg, was a computer from an episode in Series 2, I think, and the ZX81 was a real computer. So it was A, 2X4B. And finally, question 10, 4 actors portrayed Doctor Who during the 80s, but which appeared in the most episodes during that decade? Now, there's 4 answers. Colin Baker was A, he appeared in 31. Peter Davison was B, he appeared in 69. Sylvester McCoy was C, he appeared in 42. And Tom Baker was D, he appeared in 172 episodes in total, but only 30 in the 80s. So the correct answer was B, Peter Davison. On to music round. Question 1, what was Adam and the Ants' first UK number 1 single? It was D, Stand and Deliver, which went straight in at number 1 in May 1981. Prince Charming was one of the other answers, and that also got to number 1, but later in the same year. Question 2, the one-hit wonder Nick Cayman was more famous for starring in a TV commercial for which brand? It was C, Levi Jeans. That was the famous laundrette advert where he comes in and takes his jeans off to wash them. Question 3, the Aha album that we pictured on screen was C, Scoundrel Days. Question 4 in this round, which Guns N' Roses song from Appetite for Destruction was the highest charting single on the Billboard Top 100? It was D, Sweet Child of Mine, which went to number 1. Question 5, how many number 1 singles did Madonna have in the UK in the 80s? The answer was A, 6. And they were Into the Groove, Papa Don't Preach, True Blue, La Isla Bonita, Who's That Girl? I was surprised about that one. And Like a Prayer. So yeah, it was 6 UK number 1 singles that Madonna had in the 80s. And question 6, which track was not on the Happy Mondays 4-track EP Madchester Rave On? It was D, WFL Wrote for Luck. And question 7, which band was Belinda Carlisle a member of before going solo in 1985? It was B, the Go-Go's. Number 8, which 80s James Bond theme spent the most weeks in the UK charts? It was A, A View to a Kill by Duran Duran, which peaked at number 2 and spent 16 weeks in the charts. The other ones, All Time High by Rita Coolidge, was from Octopussy. Only got to number 75, so didn't go in the charts at all, really. License to Kill by Gladys Knight was 11 weeks and peaked at number 6. And The Living Daylights by a-ha was 9 weeks and peaked at number 5. Question 9. Which of these is not a line from Spitting Image's Chicken Song? The answer was C, You Better Listen, Better Do As You're Told. That was actually from another novelty song, Weird Al Yankovic's Eat It. The other 3 were from that dreadful Spitting Image song, obviously. And finally, the Duran Duran song that we're playing the clip from, which was their only single to enter the charts at number 1, was A, Is There Something I Should Know? Okay, toys and video games. Question 1, what was the biggest selling Nintendo Gameboy game? It was D, Tetris, and that was mainly because it was bundled with the console, so everyone that had a Game Boy had a copy of Tetris. So if you do it was a bit of lateral thinking required maybe on that one, but I think most people got it anyway. Question 2, which toy line had the characters Tenderheart, Cheer, Love-A-Lot and Funshine? It was A, the Care Bears. Question 3, which game was bundled with the Atari 2600 from 1982? It was D, Pac-Man. Question 4, what was the unique selling point of 1985's most popular toy, Teddy Ruxpin? It was B, he had a built-in cassette player that would read stories. And question 5, which arcade game is pictured, or was pictured, it was from 1982. The correct answer was C, Time Pilot. Question 6, TCR was once a rival to match the more successful Scalextric. What does TCR stand for? It was C again, Total Control Racing. Question 7, which of the following was not a toy from Mattel's Masters of the Universe line? And the options were Fisto, Snake Eyes, Stinkor or Whiplash. The one that wasn't a Masters of the Universe character was B, Snake Eyes. So yes, they did have characters called Fisto and Stinkor. I do recommend, if you haven't watched it on Netflix, watch The Toys That Made Us, and the episode about Masters of the Universe is very entertaining, so well worth a watch, as are most of the episodes in that series. Question 8, which best-selling home computer had a model affectionately known as a toast rack? It was D, the ZX Spectrum. That was the 128K model due to the large heat sink on the right hand side. Question 9, in this round, we're showing a picture of a dodgy Soviet Union. No, we showed a picture of a dodgy Soviet Union version of a classic 80s toy. That toy was B, the Big Track. And question 10, what was the best-selling toy of the decade in the 1980s? The answer was B, the Rubik's Cube, which was actually patented in 1975, but got worldwide success in 1980 and sold over 200 million between 1980 and 1983. And is actually the best-selling toy not just in the 80s but in history. Hope you all kept up with that. I know I went through it pretty quickly. So that's it for the results. Congratulations to everyone who did well. Commiserations to those of you that didn't. So there you go, that's the quiz. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks again for watching. I think we're slightly moving towards the downward slope of this first wave of coronavirus, so you might all get out in a couple of weeks. If we're still locked down in another few weeks, then we might do another quiz. Even if we don't do another quiz, you can always head over to MovieMuse to check out other things we're doing, like podcasts and box set reviews, director reviews, and all the usual bits and pieces. Stay safe, everyone.